I recently found a folder full of pictures from a trip my wife and I took in 2010 to a town in New Mexico that has special meaning for her family. I've asked my mother-in-law Lou and my wife to narrate the rest of this video as they know what they're looking at.
Monticello, you have to be looking for it in order to find it.
That's the school where my grandmother and my aunt taught.
That's the place where Dad put the snake in the teacher's desk and got into trouble. It wasn't just a one-room schoolhouse. There was a time when there was actually K through 8, and the high school was in Truth or Consequences. A lot of this was washed away during a flood. The flood was like 9 feet high. You can see the mud up there. It's up here at the church. The doors didn't even cave in, and there was a ring around the whole church. Not one stained glass window was broken. There was a drop of water inside. You know how they don't lock a door? They didn't swing open. Whatever happened, it did not destroy the church story. At all. That was
like the miracle of Monticello.
Because the water just encased the whole church. I mean, it was just...
Okay, so here's the fire department, and my family donated the land. The Bourguet family donated the land for the fire department. My great-grandfather lost his daughter. My grandfather lost his little sister.
Right. And Aunt Myrtle was actually in that same fire. In that place where the fire department is, that's where it burned down.
This is my great-grandmother's house, Grandma Bourguet. And the RB on that wall, I'm pretty sure is Richard Bourguet, because he's the only RB that actually lived in that house.
And look, those walls are still standing. See? Oh, this was like the living room. And that's where my grandfather stayed. He was on oxygen for the last couple of years of his life, and used to share it with us.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah, really.
Taking hits off the oxygen mask.
Grandma would get really mad.
That's a different podcast.
Yeah. They used to add the rooms on one at a time. You know, first it was a great room, and they had a room for the kids.
Right, it was
the kitchen.
The layout was always really strange in these old houses, where you just sort of walk into like a room and then
go to another room,
other weird rooms off of the other rooms, and
right.
You couldn't just take a nap in your room. People would be walking through trying to get to their room or their bathroom or the kitchen or some other room. It was so weird. Right. And up here this is the cemetery, obviously. Both sets of your grandparents are there. That's my great uncle, Uncle Grant. Okay, so there's Grandma and Grandpa Bourguet. Those are my grandparents, my great-grandparents.
This was actually by Mr. Torres's home. He was a teacher there forever, and
his truck broke down.
Really.
For my wife, my mother-in-law, and myself, I'm Mark Archambault, and I'm somewhere along the road.
The town of Monticello was actually named by my great-great-grandfather, Alphonse Bourguet. He had been a postmaster in Monticello, New York, and he loved the town so much. And so when he moved out here and they chased all the Apaches out of the canyon and they settled in the canyon of Monticello, he changed the name to Monticello. And he changed the name, and he was the postmaster, so he could do that. He started calling it Monticello.